Are you ready to draw? I hope so. I'm going to use a pencil today. I'm also going to use a black marker pen, and I'm going to use some textures. So I hope you're ready to draw. Are you ready? I'm going to do it what we call landscape or horizontal, long ways. Okay, I'm going to start with a pencil. Now, what are we going to draw? Always the question. It is an animal and it lives in the ocean. We're going to draw a shark. So what I'm going to do is probably start, or maybe it's about 5 centimeters in from this side. Now you might be drawing in your big A3 sketchbook. You can draw your shark bigger, okay? Bigger than mine, and you might just take a bit longer to color it, and that is perfectly fine. Okay, so I'm going to make a soft curve on the top. I don't want to start all the way at the edge, and I don't want to finish at the edge. I want to give myself a space on each side, okay? So I'm going to go up and curve down. Don't worry, I'm going to draw over it to make it darker for you. So curve up and curve down. You see it's got kind of a bit of a steeper part on the left, and then it goes softly down. Okay, now we're going to draw the underneath of our shark. Okay, so underneath, I'm going to go over it in pencil. Maybe it is better. On the underneath of the shark, it comes down a little bit steeper at the front. So the nose end is going to be this end, and the tail is going to be this end. So on the actual nose, we're going to draw that curve in a moment, but I'm going to leave a little space and come down maybe about 1 centimeter. And I'm going to draw, it's almost sort of straightish coming down, okay? Trust me with these shapes. Okay, so that comes down and the mouth will come in about here. And this is why I'm doing pencil first. So then I'm going to draw over with some texture lines. And then it's going to curve up and come narrow up here towards the end. So I'm going to continue, track back along that line and curve it up like this. Okay, so we're getting our construction lines in. Sometimes we need construction lines that later we rub out too. Okay, and you might notice, even though this is quite nice thick paper, I always put a spare piece of paper in the page behind, because when the textures are coloured on top, they often go through, and I don't want them to park the next page. Okay, friends, let's keep going. Hopefully you've done that part. Now, what we're going to do is get some of the lines we want to keep in. So I'm going to switch over and use my black marker. You might like to as well at this point. That is up to you. I'm going to get the shark's eye in. Now, the shark's eye needs to come quite close to the nose part, but not all the way. Maybe 1.5 centimeters in. So I'm just doing a very simple black dot today. Okay, now what we need to do is get the nose in. So it's a curved shape, all right? It's definitely curved, and we're going to join up those lines. So to help me with my curve, I'm going to kind of track back on my pencil line, curve it around, and then join up to the pencil line. I know I definitely need to keep that shape there. Good stuff, guys. Now we're going to add in the mouth and fins and tail. Now, the all-important shark fin that you often see in the movies or cartoons with this big fin that sort of tells you that the shark is there, is going to come in, or let's see, not quite the middle of the body, a bit of the left of the middle of the body. So it's going to curve up like this. And then it's going to come back down, but it's going to have a tiny little curve on the point. I don't think it's really sharp point, so it's going to come down and come in like that. So get that in, guys. And once you've done that, then you can actually track back on your back line and smooth over that line there. There we go. Now it's got to have teeth yet and other fins. Okay, and to help it look really sharky, we're going to give it a little curved kind of breathing hole on the nose bit there. Okay, very good. And now we're going to come in and add the mouth. Now, I haven't drawn my line right down yet, and I'm keeping that for a moment. I'm going to look about there. It's going to be a curved line, almost like a smile, coming a little bit wider than the eye. So get that line in there. Now we're going to make the mouth on our shark open, and we're doing that on purpose because we want to see some little teeth in there. So you can see already there's going to be a construction line here in pencil, that we're going to need to erase. And then the mouth, of course, is open, so it's going to come back to that line there. All right. Now we know how far to draw that line and join that up. Good stuff, guys. Woo-hoo. All right. Let's keep going on the back of our shark's body here and the tail. Okay, so I'm going to go all the way here to the end where my tail is, and I'm going to start with this line and curve it up. Now the tail doesn't go any higher than the fin, okay? So eyeball that across and make sure that doesn't go any higher, okay? And then we're going to get a bit of a smaller, shorter curve in on the bottom side. There we go. And then that is going to be joined by another curvy line in there. So get that tail in there. And then you know your line here to join the fin, the tail. There we go. Good fun. I am thinking my shark is looking a bit like a bit fat tummy. I'm going to make a bit narrower as I draw this. So that's a good thing that I drew it in pencil. That's why we like construction lines. So I'm going to come in and I'm going to make it a bit narrower, I think. So yeah, this is the chance for you to change your mind if you'd like to. Okay, friends, now we need an all-important fins on the bottom here. So they also are going to be curvy. You curve down like this. All right. And then I know my line from here to here, so I can draw that in from the bottom of the lip to the fin. Fantastic. And then from this fin all the way to the tail. Okay, but I've got a couple of other fins I would like to draw in because the shark kind of have, if you like, a left and a right fin. So this fin we're going to draw in front of the other one. It's going to be a little bit smaller. And because that line there is in front, it tells us that that fin therefore is on the other side of the body. It's looking like a very happy shark at the moment. We need those teeth, don't we? And then there's another little fin, it's probably in the center, that comes in about there. Okay, all right, happy shark. We need a few kind of gill shapes on the side. So we're a bit further back from the mouth, and I'm going to go 1, 2, 3. All right, get those in. And I've been drawing with quite a chunky black text today. I'm just going to swap over for a moment or two to a skinny black so that I can get tiny teeth in, all right? Because I think that black chunky one is not going to let me draw many teeth. So I'm going to start off with, I think I'll fit 3. You might be able to fit more if you've drawn yours larger. And I've got 1 in on the bottom. I'm going to give you a close-up of that. There we go, get those teeth in. You can still see some of my pencil construction lines. And guess what? Now that we've let it dry for a few seconds, now is the moment to use your eraser to rub out any of those construction lines that you don't want to keep. Okay, because once we draw, if you're drawing in text or over the top or even pencil, they're kind of trapped underneath the surface. So rub those out. I might not finish the colors, let's see how we go. But I think I'm going to do some grays and blues and maybe even some soft purples. So I'm going to fish out a few because I quite like to do that. I like to have them in my hand or close by so I'm not being confused, if you like, by all the other choices that I have. All right, it's a very nice dark blue there that I like, but I think I'm going to go for grays. And let's try this grey. So these are the colors. Oops. These are the colours I've got today. I've got a dark grey, a light grey, a soft purple colour and a light blue. So let's do a little bit of testing. Let's just test them out. Oh, see, there's the dark grey. That's a nice one. I like that one. Oh, and that's a different grey. So they're good. They're different. I'm going to keep them aside here. And I've got, oh, now that's very similar. It says it's blue on the end, but I think that probably it's not the right colour to choose today. I'm going to go for more of a blue. There we go. Oh, it's not showing up on the camera, but it does look like it to me. And that's a bit of a purple. I thought I'd add in a bit of purple and a bit of blue just to give us some interesting little features. That is up to you how you want to go about doing that. So I'm going to get a bit of purple in some parts here, and I'll probably overlap them. I'm going to make sure I leave those teeth white if I can help it. And I'm going to give a few little shadow lines, if you like, on the fins and the tail. It's not showing up super well, that colour on the camera, but there you go. You can kind of see all those little parts there. And now I'm going to go in for that lighter grey colour, and I'm going to get some of that around on the top part of my little shark. I'm even going to do a little bit of what I call a little bit of messy colouring, so it's not quite perfect. Remember, in Sketch Club we try out lots of different styles of drawing, and I'm going to take some of that colour about halfway down the body, a little bit more around the eye and around the snout, top lip here. There we go. And down to the end of the shark's tail. Now, let's also get some of this light blue. And I quite like overlapping some of my colours as I go here. And if you're using oil pastels or pencils today, that would look really cool too. So I'm overlapping a bit of my grey with my light blue. You won't see much of the light blue by the time I'm finished, but it changes the colour slightly. You can see that on the camera, how the light blue changes the grey a little bit, mixes with it. And I quite like that effect. I think I might use a touch more purple around the bottom lip of the shark's mouth there. And maybe a little bit around the nostril. These textures are a little bit magic, and you can layer them and they can change when you put one colour over the top of the other. Now I'm going in with the darker grey along the bottom. But you know what? You might have a rainbow shark. You might have a pink shark. I don't know. But I tell you what, there's a song that was popular not long ago. Please don't sing it. I'm so glad I'm not with you and I can't hear it, because it gets very annoying, that song. All right, if you don't know what I'm talking about, that's good, because your parents might be thankful. Okay, now I've got some dark areas, and I'm going to use my dark grey to do some little spots around. I quite like using little spots and tiny lines and marks to add some extra little features. I'm going to go over some of that blue. It's still showing in a few places, up the back, up the tail. I'm even going to do some on the outside. And the last little shapes. And there we go. I almost stuck to 15 minutes. I'm going to use the last grey, light grey rather, to colour those little fins on the bottom. There we go. Get a little bit more of the light grey in there. And I'm going to find my blue again. And I might do a bit of that over the dark grey and see if that changes that colour as well. Well, very fun, guys. That's my little shark today. I hope you had a good time. Yay! So good fun, guys. Cute little drawing. You might have drawn it big, and you might now spend some time to do a whole environment. Remember, find a way to send me some pictures. Okay, have a great day. Bye, bye, bye. Bye, bye, bye. Keep drawing.